And what do you think the key things are, given that the large language model we provided as an API service? What are the things that you think that folks who are thinking about these kind of AI businesses should think about as how do you create an enduring, differentiated business?
So, I think there will be a small handful of like fundamental large models out there that other people build on. But right now what happens is, company makes large language model, API, other people build on top of it. And I think there will be a middle layer that becomes really important where I'm like skeptical of all of the startups that are trying to sort of train their own models. I don't think that's going to keep going. But what I think will happen is there will be a whole new set of startups that take an existing very large model of the future and tune it, which is not just fine tuning, like all of the things you can do. I think there will be a lot of access provided to create the model for medicine or using a computer or like the kind of like friend or whatever. And then those companies will create a lot of enduring value because they will have like a special version of, they won't have to have created the base model, but they will have created something they can use just for themselves or share with others that has this unique data flywheel going that sort of improves over time and all of that.
What would be, do you think, the first Nobel Prize awarded that was based on something generated by an AI?
Great question. No really strong opinion. I would bet it's like a physics discovery, but low confidence.
Yeah. Could be a Peace Prize.
Less confidence.
Less confidence.
It'd be great.
Hi, Sam. I'm Thomas, and I'm a junior at the college studying computer science. My question is, what do you think the ideal public general education curriculum on artificial intelligence should look like? And what does the average person need to know in the next 5 or 10 years about AI?
Great question. I think the most important thing for people to learn in general is just how to use the tools. We saw this thing after we launched ChatGPT where school districts were falling all over themselves to ban it as quickly as possible. And then almost as quickly on the other side, unbanning it and requiring their teachers to use it in the way they worked. And that probably happens with all technology. Every time there's something new and people say, well, this is the end of education in way X or Y. And I think encouraging people when they're learning to be effective with these tools, which are going to change how they go contribute to society after their education and during, is great. So that would be the number one thing is everyone, you can't fight this, nor should you. It's just like a new tool in the tech tree, and people need to be good at it, and it's how they're going to do their work later, so they better learn how to do their work with it in school. And then in the same way that now, even for people that aren't going to study CS long-term, like a lot of college undergrads take an intro to CS class, and you may never program again, but it was like maybe useful to you to have some familiarity with it. I think it'd be great if like every college freshman trained a GPT-2. Just, to get like basically familiar with the whole stack, and you can probably do that now pretty easily. I think that's like much less important than learning to use the tools, but I bet that'll be like in 3 more years, I bet that'll be something that like most Harvard freshmen do.
Cool, thank you.
The broad category of new kinds of art, entertainment, sort of more like human-to-human connection. I don't know what that job title is going to be, but I think, and I don't know if this like we get there in 5 years, but I think there's going to be a premium on like human, in-person, like fantastic experiences. I don't know what we'll call that, but I could see that being like a very huge category of something new that we.
There's a lot of anxiety out there. There's a lot of fear. The comparisons to nuclear, the comparisons to bioweapons, are those fair or is that overdramatic?
There is a lot of anxiety and fear, but I think there's like way more excitement out there. I think like with any very powerful technology, synthetic bio and nuclear, 2 of those, AI is a 3rd, there are major downsides we have to manage to be able to get the upsides. And with this technology, I expect the upsides to be far greater than anything we have seen, and the potential downsides also like super bad, super bad. So we do have to manage through those, but the quality of conversation about how to productively do that has gotten so much better so fast.
Qualities do you think are important for world, or really for any infrastructure that's designed to help humans benefit from AI?
I think we're still figuring that out as we go, but the ability to assert personhood in a privacy-preserving way seems important. We're seeing many reasons today why you might want that. And then the ability to just be a very large-scale, widely distributed, inclusive infrastructure. I think we've seen a lot of examples throughout history of why more of that is better.
You know, we've talked about relationships with chatbots. Did you see this as something that people could get emotionally attached to? And how do you feel about that?
I think language models in general are something that people are getting emotionally attached to. And, you know, I have like a complex set of thoughts about that. I personally find it strange. I don't want it for myself. I have a lot of concerns. I don't want to be like the kind of like people telling other people what they can do with tech. But it seems to me like something we need to be careful with.
Here's a warning. With any new tech platform, you can always drive phenomenal short-term growth. And so you have this class of AI startups, like you used to have a class of mobile startups, and before that, like you used to have a class of internet startups, that were not building an enduring business. But instead, we're building this sort of like novelty thing that was, and you kind of delude yourself because you get amazing fast growth. And because there's this like magic new technology and, you know, the dust hasn't settled yet. Just because there's a magic new technology, it does not excuse you from like the laws of physics of a business. You still have to figure out a way to build some sort of switching cost, some sort of relationship with customers, some sort of compounding advantage over time. And in the gold rush moments, I think startups at their peril often forget that.
Right. Anna, you wrote a remarkable letter to employees during the saga, and one of the many reasons I was excited to have you on stage today was to just ask you, what were those 5 days like for you, and why did you step up and write that?
Anna can clearly answer this if she wants to, but like, is really what you want to spend our time on, like the soap opera, rather than like what AGI is going to do?
I mean, I'm wrapping it up, but
I mean, go ahead.
I think people are interested. Okay,
all right.
well, we can leave it here.
If you want,
yeah, let's answer that question, and then we can move on.
I would just say for color that it happened the day before the entire company was supposed to take a week off. So we were all on Friday preparing to, you know, have a restful week after an insane year. So then, you know, many of us slept on the floor of the office for a week.
Right.
Now, obviously, we've seen all the barbs that you and Elon have been trading in public and in interviews.
Trading? I don't really.
Well, you're responding. You respond. You get asked about it by people like me, to be fair.
Mostly people like you, to be honest. Most other people ask about the technology, but that is true.
Why do you think he's so frustrated or disappointed with the direction that OpenAI has gone?
I mean, you should ask him. He can give you a better answer than I can speculate. But I really am happy to talk about this. If this is the most important topic, we can spend the rest of the time on it.
Don't worry. Not the rest of the time, just some.
I think he really cares about AI safety a lot. And I think that's where it's coming from a good place. And he just like, you know, we have differences of opinion on some parts, but I think we both care about that. And he wants to make sure we have like the world, have the maximal chance at a good outcome.
What does AGI mean? Or what does it mean to you?
You know, whatever is like 2 years away or 5 years away or like whatever is coming in the future. I think the term has become essentially meaningless because people have such a huge variety of things that they mean for it. Like some people call GPT-4 AGI, which I think it's definitely not. Some people talk about this vague thing, and they're not sure what it is, but they think it'll come in some set number of years, always the same number in the future. And some people mean that it's like the legitimate recursively self-improving superintelligence. I would love to banish the word because I think it's become so overloaded with different meanings. One of the reasons we like this levels framework is you can at least then like kind of agree on what the milestones are and talk about something with a little more rigor. I think if you could go back in time, not even very long, if you could go back in time like 5 years and show someone O1, they would be absolutely astonished. Most people, they would say, there's no way that AI is going to do this in 2024. And I think if you could fast forward another 5 years and we could show you what will happen in 2029, most people would say, absolutely not, there's no way. Can't keep going like this. And I think the important thing is not a definition of AGI or arguing about when it's going to come, but it is that we are on this exponential curve, and every year from 2019 to a long time in the future is going to look like just breathtaking forward progress.
Yeah. Well, I won't call it AGI.
Call it whatever you want.
I'll use AGI for today, and then we'll stop. But